The Power Play Post Show is on the air, covering minor league hockey since 2003, and now covering the Binghamton Black Bears with news, reactions, and in-depth interviews only heard here. And now, from the Box Studios in Kirkwood, New York, here are your hosts of the Power Play Post Show, Bob Howard and Taylor Welch.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Power Play Post Show. This is the show for October 23rd, 2025. This is season 15, episode number 13, and this is episode number 527 in the long-running podcast that is the Power Play Post Show. Hello, everyone. I am Bob Howard, and yes, I am not accompanied by Taylor Welch this week or today, and that is because Taylor is sicker than she was when we did the show on Monday. So she is taking the night off, and we wish her well. If you're friends with her on Facebook, please wish her well, and hopefully she'll get better really, really, really soon, which I'm pretty sure she will. She really wants to be at Saturday's game. She'll be watching either way, but she really wants to be at the game on Saturday, and she'll be back with me on Sunday, I'm sure, to kind of break down the upcoming games against the Watertown Wolves. This week has been kind of like a crazy kind of week when it comes to news. Like if you're looking at the, league-wide news, one of the owners of two teams has been ousted from those two teams. That all happened in the last couple days. That's some craziness that I'm glad Binghamton Black Bears are not part of, and no drama here in Binghamton in the 607, which is great. We do have some maybe heavy hearts because of some of the decisions to release certain people or to trade some people to other teams, but otherwise it's smooth sailing here in Binghamton. That's kind of the way we like it. But yeah, we got the Watertown Wolves this upcoming weekend. We have a great show for you. I really am excited for you to get to meet and learn a little bit more about Wyatt Friedlander. And what's really great about Wyatt is it says on his birthplace that it's Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, he was born in Atlanta, Georgia, but really his hometown is Lake Placid, New York. And talk about history, in Lake Placid with the Olympics, the Miracle on Ice, everything that happened in 1980, and everything that has kind of grown beyond that because of Lake Placid, right? Lake Placid really helped the start of the development program in the United States. I truly believe that the Miracle on Ice in Lake Placid, all the things that people have done when they go to Lake Placid to see the rink and all of the sports that are there, from ski jumping and so on, has also kind of bled over into this really great, for the past 50 years, 40 years, 45 years now, the development of U.S.-born hockey players. And a lot of the guys who are on the Binghamton Black Bears who have won the Cup the last couple of years, they've been U.S.-born hockey players. And a lot of them are hockey players because of what happened in Lake Placid. Now, I know the development program eventually moved over into Michigan, but Lake Placid has a big part of everything that's happened in the history of USA hockey, and it's very important to recognize that and why it's from there. And he truly understands and respects and loves the fact that he's from somewhere that means so much to so many people when it comes to hockey in this country. So it's a great conversation. I cannot wait for you guys to see it and talk and everything. But let's get into the must-reads. The Power Play Post Show is available on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on your favorite app, and please don't forget to subscribe. Join the conversation on Facebook. We're so close to 1,000 members. Ask anybody to join that you think is a big hockey fan, especially with the Binghamton Black Bears. Search for Power Play Post Show and become part of our community. Looking for anything Binghamton hockey, just visit binghamtonhockey.net, your go-to source for stats, history, and all things Binghamton hockey. And like I said, coming up here on this episode of the Power Play Post Show, from the Binghamton Black Bears, netminder Wyatt Friedlander. And it's a great interview. So I cannot wait for you guys to do it. And he answered 6 more questions, which you'll hear this upcoming Sunday on the Power Play Post Show. So look forward to that as well. Okay. So let's get into it. The heavy part, right? The Binghamton Black Bears have released Nolan Egbert. Nolan played 39 games for the Black Bears over the last 2 seasons, winning 27, losing 8, and losing 2 in overtime. He has a 3.22 goals against average in his career and an 891 save percentage in his pro career with 2 shutouts. He is a 2-time Commissioner's Cup champion. The reaction from fans, his teammates, and the organization have been very supportive. They didn't just release him. They also gave him a little bit of a send-off with a couple graphics that I think means a lot. It allowed people to kind of share their love for Nolan. As most of you know, Nolan and I had, and we still do, have a great relationship. I can text him at any moment. I'll get a response back, as quickly as he can. And we can talk about music and we can talk about hockey and he can try to educate me on goalie stuff. But it goes in one ear and out the other, not because it's Nolan, but because it's just goalie talk. And I don't always completely understand it, but that's okay. He was one of those guys in the locker room that absolutely everybody loved. He had the best smile and he literally does have like the best hair in hockey. Without a doubt. But, it's a business, unfortunately, in this league and in all of the hockey leagues that certain things do happen. And I have said multiple times, and you guys have heard this, I've said it to Taylor. She's said it. I know people that I am close with that are close to this team have said it. They don't want to be in Brant Sherwood's shoes. If anybody has a problem with what Brant Sherwood did when it comes to Nolan Egbert, you have no right to be upset. I'll be honest with you. In my opinion, this is between he and Nolan and nobody else, not even myself. I didn't ask Nolan, even though I did talk to him about being released. I did not talk to him about what he and Brant said. And when I talked to Brant earlier today, I did not ask Brant what was said. That is between the two of them. And decisions have to be made. I know for Brant, part of him doesn't know if he did the right thing or not. And that's something that he said on the Tully's Good Time show. I know Brant well enough to know those decisions are not easy. So if you think for one moment that it's easy for Brant to make the decision to let go of somebody who is, okay, there is something that Wyatt Friedlander said to me in the interview about the culture in the locker room. Good guys first. Brant knows that Nolan is a good guy, and he's the type of guy he wants in the locker room. But again, decisions have to be made for certain reasons, and to make sure that the team is the best it can be to get to the championship. The goal is to win a championship. Nolan understands that as much as anybody. So if you think this was easy for Brant Sherwood, you don't know Brant Sherwood. I just want to say that. I know 2.5 years ago, people were like, he's releasing all the hometown guys and everybody's going crazy and fire Sherwood and all that stuff. And guys, there's always a plan. There's always a thought process. There's always something that is in his back pocket that has worked out. No, so far, even any criticism that I've ever given of Brant Sherwood about suspensions or anything that he's done, he's proven to me that he can make it work and he can become the leader that this team has always needed. And so, listen, you haven't heard the last of Nolan Egbert on the Power Play Post Show. I can guarantee you that if he lands somewhere, or even if he doesn't land somewhere, and he goes and starts up a band He will be here on the show. We'll talk music, we'll talk hockey, maybe we'll talk about the Rangers and the Islanders. And you guys will get to hear him that way. But either way, he'll be on the show. Nolan's going to be great. He's going to do good things. And I'm hoping that a team picks him up and he gets to play, and maybe he gets to play against the Black Bears. You know what? I mean, listen, sometimes some of the best revenge, right? If there is revenge in this storyline, right, is that he comes in and he beats the Black Bears, you know? I mean, sure, no, or Brant and the team's not going to want that, but they'd be happy for him if he came in with another team and beat them. Well, maybe not immediately, but they would be afterwards. That's just the way that works. There's a lot of love there, a lot of love. All right, so that's that. We'll have Nolan back on the show. I guarantee it. And Nolan, you, as I told you in a text message yesterday, you always have a spot here on the Power Play Post Show to come and talk with me. And I mean that sincerely. You have been one of the best people for me in this show to be able to talk music, to be able to talk hockey. So we're going to move on from there. All right. The Black Bears trade Luke Dobles to the Twin City Thunderbirds for financial considerations. In six games played with the Black Bears, Luke has 1 assist for the Black Bears. He joins previously traded defenseman from the Black Bears to the Thunderbirds, Sergei Sherbakov. This trade is due to how tough it is to have rookies be able to crack the Black Bears defensive core. The Black Bears have Dan Weber, Dan Stone, Jesse Anderson, Cam Cervone, Emerson Emery, Scott Ramakers, Austin D'Azorio, and the newly signed Chicho Lathan. So there's a lot of players here. And I think Luke really wanted some playing time. So I think this is going to be the best thing for him. He can go and play with the Twin City Thunderbirds and get some playing time. Brent said on the Tully Show on Tuesday he hopes he doesn't regret the decision to trade Luke to Twin City in the future. What does he mean by that? Well, you never know. Luke could come back and maybe score a game winner against the Binghamton Black Bears. You just don't know. All those types of things. I've seen players. I can go all the way back into the early Sens days. And guys who were on the Senators would come back and play against the B-Sens, and they would score like game-winning goals, or they would score these power play goals that would help their team. And it's just the way it is. It really is. You just never know. But the one thing that I do know from Brant, he wants these guys to succeed, period. Whether it's with the Black Bears or with somebody else, he wants them to succeed. Of course, he'll tell you immediately, and he said it on the Tully Show, we want to win a championship. We want to win. We want to win every game, and it's that simple. And I think the Black Bears, when it all comes down, everybody's a family. And one of the other things he said on the Good Time Show, the Tully's Good Time Show, was that he was confident that I can't remember where I was going with that. Well, either way. There was something else. I can't remember. But we'll move on from there. The Binghamton Black Bears signed defenseman Chicho Lathan ahead of this weekend's series against the Watertown Wolves. Lathan is a 21-year-old native of Opaskwauk, Manitoba. He's from Manitoba. Let's just say he's from Manitoba. The province of Manitoba. Opaskwauk. I'm going to go with that. He has spent the last 2 seasons playing in the Manitoba Junior Hockey League, the MJHL, with the Northern Manitoba Blizzard. In those 2 seasons, Lathan appeared in 57 games and in 28 playoff games. He recorded 10 goals and 32 assists with the Blizzard in those 2 campaigns, and added an even 6 goals and 6 assists in the postseason runs. Chicho is 6 foot tall, weighs 190 pounds, and adds another right-handed shot to the Black Bears blue line. And again, the Black Bears blue line is stacked with a lot of players that are probably not going anywhere. It's going to be tough to crack the lineup. We'll see what happens. I expect Chicho to probably get a game, maybe be in both games. who knows this upcoming weekend, at least one game for sure. Because I know there's not that many games left before they have to trim the rosters down, and we'll see who comes and who goes. So coming up next year on the Power Play Post Show, I'm going to play the interview with Wyatt Friedlander. I'm really excited for you guys to hear this. So coming up next year is my interview with Wyatt. We'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Hi, this is Don Biggs from the 92-93 Binghamton Rangers. Hi, this is Brandon Bolchinski.
This is Grady Wittenberg, the voice of the Binghamton Senators, and you're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
Here is another Power Play Post Show interview exclusive with Bob Howard.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. Very excited to have this gentleman on. I've been talking about this guy with somebody else, Stephen Brown, who was a former guest here on the show since the summertime, and very just happy that he's here in Binghamton, and we get to talk a little bit about his time so far here in Binghamton, and of course his career to get to here. He is the goaltender for the Binghamton Black Bears. He is Wyatt Friedlander. Wyatt, welcome to the show. Great to have you on. It's good to get to talk to you.
Thank you, Bob. Yeah, it's great to be here. Truly is an honor to be talking to you. I know Steve Brown gave me a heads up saying we got to get you on the show, so I'm excited to see what you throw at me today.
All right, awesome. Wyatt, if when people, a lot of times when I talk to the players and we start to get to know them and everything, we talk about where they were born. And in your case, you were born in Atlanta, Georgia, but you kind of grew up here in the Northeast. Is there any remembrance at all for you for Atlanta, or was it you were young when you moved up here?
Yeah, I was very young. So I was born in Atlanta, Georgia. Actually, Lithia Springs, Georgia.
Sure.
And then I moved to Lake Placid when I was about 3. So I don't have many memories in Georgia, just a few pictures of, in baby clothes or whatnot. But I moved to Lake Placid at a super young age and been there ever since, and just blessed to be there for sure.
Yeah, Lake Placid, obviously, for fans who obviously know, Miracle on Ice, great part of the lore and the hockey history for amateur hockey, obviously being in Lake Placid. Growing up there, was it like one of those things where it's like hockey's number one, all the sports are number 2 after that? Or is there some misconceptions that maybe fans have of what Lake Placid is kind of like when it comes to sports and youth sports?
Yeah, I think that Lake Placid truly is a hockey town.
Yeah.
But really throughout the years, it has, grown to broader sports, and so like skiing is a huge thing. There's Whiteface Mountain, and every week over the summer, there's a new sport that comes in, whether it's the Ironman, it's rugby, it's lacrosse. We hold big events there, that a lot of people can come participate. And, with Lake Placid holding the Olympics a few times, it definitely helped with the sports scenes. And we have a lot of visitors, a lot of tourists that come up every summer. And yeah, it truly is a special place for sure.
For you, was hockey number 1 immediately, or were there other sports that you kind of liked as well before hockey became number 1?
Yeah, hockey's always been number 1 for me. I was fortunate enough to play at a young age, but during that time when I was growing up, I didn't really think of it as, oh yeah, that's my number 1 sport. I really tried everything. I was blessed to be able to, whether it was lacrosse, whether it was tennis, golf. I'm a huge golfer now.
Yeah.
A ton of sports that I kind of dabbled into, but over the years, I would just keep coming back to hockey, and that's really where my head was at, and I just love it.
I think Steven told me that you're like a golf pro at one of the courses up there. Is that true?
Yeah, well, not a golf pro. Would love to be, but I just work at a course. I got Steve a few free rounds this summer. I'm just in the pro shop, and I give some private lessons here and there, and work with the kids doing the kids clinics.
What's your handicap?
I'd probably say about a 10, but
Okay.
I just beat a 4 handicap yesterday, so I'm.
Oh, wait.
There,
So which player did you beat yesterday? You got to spill the dirt. If someone's a 4 and you're a 10 and you beat them, who did you beat?
We got to let him hear it. His name's Austin D-Raz.
All right, so D-Raz. So he's because pretty much everybody on this team, I think Brant, when he is recruiting players, I think he says, "Do you play golf?" Because that is like Kirkby, big golfer. Gavin Yates, big golfer. These are the mainstays that have been on this team for a long time, and obviously, something that you very much enjoy. I know a lot of the other players enjoy golf as well. So D-Raz, one of the new guys as well, one of the new D-men. You had a nice round and beat him.
Oh yeah, we played at Ellie Park. Played there a few times, but there's some good tracks around here for sure. But it's interesting you say, Coach asked if we play golf and stuff, and actually, my first phone call with the coach happened when I think I was on hole 4 at my home course, and he called me up, and I was like, "Oh, hey, he gave me the whole spiel and everything," and I let him know. I was like, "Yeah, I'm actually on the golf course right now." Like, we kind of got into the golf talk, and he was like, "Oh, well, I don't want to take too much of your time," but I was like, "No, I'd rather be talking to you right now." And my buddy was just sitting in the cart, like, laughing, but. That was a funny story, but yeah, golf is definitely fun for sure. But Austin's going to kill me later today once he finds out that I let him know.
No, that's okay. We'll get Austin on the show at some point and talk to him and ask him about your golf game, actually. So if he's a 4 handicap, you must have had a really good round to beat him.
Yeah, I did. I think we both ended up shooting like 4 over on the front or something.
Nice.
He didn't play as well as he thought, and I think I played better than I probably thought. But yeah, it was all in good fun. Like, even Zach Demi was there too with us. It was a good time. It's getting a little colder here though.
Oh yeah. We are in October, and it's gonna change really quick here pretty soon. I still like playing when it's in the 50s. As I've gotten older, just even walking around, I sweat a little bit more than I used to. So in the 50s, golf is actually kind of better than even 70s or 80s golf. Unless I'm in a nice place like in Florida or somewhere else, right. Obviously there's that's the difference. But I have to ask you, what's your best part of your game? The long game, the chips, or the putting?
Definitely the short game.
Yeah.
I can chip it well when I'm close to the green, and I can sink some far putts. But definitely not the long game. I could get pretty lost.
Yeah, the problem with my long game is I can hit them straight. I can't hit them far. Right. So that's okay. But there will be guys that'll outdrive me by like 50 or 70 yards, but they'll be off to the side a little bit and I'll be right down the middle.
Right.
So kind of works out. Playing youth hockey in Lake Placid, is there any pressure to that? How did you, was it more travel? What was youth hockey like for you in Lake Placid?
It was great, honestly. Like at that time, I know that, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to play hockey, but, back when I was playing youth hockey, I didn't know that, but it was called the Lake Placid Blue Bombers, is the association in Lake Placid that they have that, all the young kids can go play. Mm-hmm. So I even got some sweet, like, yellow pads that I still remember this day. And before that, I was on the ice with that association, they brought like hay bales on the ice. And I remember my grandma would always make fun of me because I used to like cry when I was on the ice, like pushing the chair around, around some like hay bales and stuff. And, now I love it. So,
talk a little bit about, how I know with Lake Placid and the history where there, coaches or people that came in there that maybe were associated with obviously USA Hockey that could help youth hockey players. Yeah,
definitely. That's a lot of hockey history. Even, 1980 Olympic team. I've met a few of those guys, and even, Mike Richter, he comes to our course every year. I have a conversation with him, at least once a year, and he knows me by name. It's honestly amazing. And, there's a ton of people that can come in and, even at the rink, they give tours, and, some of the Hall of Famers are there, and you're able to talk to them. But yeah, a lot of big names, and even Jake Burns, who owns Locker Room 5 there.
Yeah.
He has a big partnership with the Youth Association. He gives out he's the only hockey shop in town, and I worked for him. But yeah, Jake Burns, and there's the list goes on of names that I could say that helped me, in my youth hockey.
Yeah. Would you say that you are a product of the success of Lake Placid, of those games in 1980, that you're a product of that, and that you kind of carry on maybe some of the legacy of that time period?
Yeah, definitely. I take a lot of pride in being from there, and what happened there, and the Miracle Game was in and of itself amazing. And, I've seen that movie a million times. Everybody wants to do something like that, but, I definitely carry that with me everywhere I go. Like really anything can happen. All it takes is one game to, go get the momentum in your favor. And yeah, it definitely is an amazing story. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to live there.
All right, so let me ask you probably the first stupid question I'm going to ask you in this afternoon. Sure. Miracle on Ice, obviously the movie, great movie. I love the movie as well. Obviously because of what happened in Lake Placid, and great. Slapshot, another great hockey movie, right? Big part of that was because of Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and of course here in Binghamton and Syracuse, New York, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, having the teams back in the North American Hockey League days, is considered also one of the greatest hockey movies of all time. If you had to pick one, which one are you picking? Are you picking Slapshot, or are you picking Miracle?
Hands down, I'm going Miracle. Gotta say,
I knew you were going to pick Miracle. I just had to bring it up. But it's amazing that if you think about it, some of the stuff that you've obviously played on that ice up in Lake Placid, obviously, and now you've practicing and going to be playing games here on the ice that kind of inspired Slapshot as well. That's kind of a pretty cool thing to be able to say that you've done both of those things now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it definitely is an honor to be, even when I was younger, I still don't understand, the full, like what everything means. It's almost surreal. It's like, oh, you're playing in that rink every day. It's nothing. And then, you go to another rink, say it's like, another big rink. And then you really see like, oh, wow, like how does this rink compare to the rink that I've been playing in for basically all my life? And with all that hockey history, it truly is amazing. And yeah, you don't think about it when you're in it.
Yeah.
But then, when people from out of state come and play in that rink, they're like, oh my God, they're taking pictures everywhere. And then I'm sitting there like, oh, what do you mean? This is my home rink. So it definitely is funny.
To you, it's like normal life. It's just normal. Like when I walk into the arena in Binghamton, it's like, this is like my second home. It really isn't anything special. And yet I do realize that it's a part of hockey history, that it really kind of modernized and popularized hockey, in the 70s and the 80s, which I didn't really get when I was young at that time period. And when that was all happening and the movie came out, we all just, kind of laughed at the movie, right? Because, it's a funny movie. Northwood School Prep. I talk about all the time how high school hockey in Minnesota is huge. It's important to the state of Minnesota. I talk about prep school hockey in Massachusetts being big, and a lot of great players come from those two areas of the country. But prep school hockey in New York, I didn't really think of that much. How competitive was it up there?
It was very competitive. Definitely, we play some great teams. And, I have a lot of stories at Northwood. It definitely shaped my hockey career for the better. I went through a lot of ups and downs during my time in high school, but was fortunate enough to, keep playing the game after that.
And how important were the downs as much as the ups when it comes to kind of molding you into the character player that you eventually become?
It was really everything. There were a lot of ups, but more downs. And honestly, that shaped me into the person I am today. I guess I can go into it a little bit. My freshman, sophomore, and junior year, I was on the prep team, which is there's JV and varsity, but I was on the prep team, not the higher team.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to make that higher team, but the coaches there, they knew me, they knew my family. And, my grandfather was actually the headmaster of Northwood School for like 30 years. So when I got there, I worked my bag off. I didn't have the best grades, honestly. I was new to the school and everything. That's something I can look back on and wish I did better at. But that was a down that, shaped me to who I am today. But I would always try and make that high team. And my junior and senior year, I was practicing with them every single day, as well as the prep team, the bottom team. And, I thought I'd be able to get my shot, just to put me in one game. But, I never got that opportunity. And, that really taught me a lot. It was, you don't deserve anything. Everything that you do, it has to be earned. And even if you earn it, the opportunity might not come. So the downs definitely shaped me into who I am today. And I'm blessed to be able to make it out for sure.
But you went from Northwood and then eventually did play, in the US PHL Premier and with the Springfield Junior Picks. How important was that for you to get that playing time there in junior hockey?
It was everything. I going from Northwood to the Picks, it was definitely a increase in level of play.
Yeah.
And also my mom cut it to me straight. She was like, yeah, if this is really what you want to do, then you're going to be paying for it yourself, So I was fully invested. I was paying the coach, increment payments, just to play my juniors for the Springfield Picks.
Wyatt, can you explain that to some of the fans that don't understand it? You were paying the coach, right?
Yeah. So in some leagues, if you're in the higher leagues, if you're in the USHL,
sure,
they can almost pay you now. But before it was free housing, free everything. But the leagues under that, for example, the Springfield Picks, where I was paying the coach in order to play there, as was everybody else. So that was tough, having to work all summer and giving all my money to a coach and not even knowing if I would be able to play in college or anything like that. So I was fully invested and I knew what I wanted to do for sure.
No, absolutely. But that time there, you played well. You had some great numbers. And then from there, you moved on to college hockey, D3 hockey with Worcester. I know from being in Worcester with them having the AHL for a very long time, that city is a great city. It's just, a little bit away from Boston. There's a lot of great hockey in that part of Massachusetts and everything. Can you talk a little bit about Worcester State University and what those 4 years meant to you?
Yeah, Worcester State was truly incredible. I met, lifelong friends there, and I have really nothing bad to say about it. The school itself was amazing. I was on campus for my first year, and then the 3 other years I was in a hockey house off campus, and the guys I met there, we'll be friends forever, and even the coaching staff and all the equipment guys and the trainers, it really was incredible. And Bob Duraney and Jay Punske were my 2 head coaches during the year, and they're still, coaching away, and I got nothing but good things to say about Worcester State.
I talk to players, skaters all the time about the differences going from junior hockey to college hockey. For a goaltender, what are the differences there? I'm guessing the shots come at you quicker. Maybe the play in front of you is a little bit quicker, and that takes some adjustments. Is there anything else that's different as well?
I would say, other than the pace of play, I would just say people's mindsets and their ability to navigate the ice. Because in juniors, it was like a kind of a gong show, like loose pucks everywhere. Whoever wins the battle is going to win. Well, in college, it's like whoever has a better mindset and whoever can think about the game better and whoever wants it more is eventually going to win that game. So going from juniors to college, I definitely got exposed a couple of times, but every time you get exposed as a goaltender, you get an ability to get better. You see the goal that happened and you can readjust, and that's what I had to do. Definitely, my first couple of years at Worcester State. Yeah,
and it looks like in your senior year, you played in 15 games. Your win-loss record was a little bit better. The numbers seemed to be better. The team overall was probably a little bit better as well. It was probably nice to kind of finish off your college season or college career, with a good year.
Yeah, definitely. I was there with my goalie partner at the time. He was a foreign kid, and my freshman year, he seemed like the clear starter. We were freshmen at the same time, and we were fortunate enough that one of our senior goalies decided to leave. Because he felt the pressure from us. So we both kind of took it by the reins, but our coach ended up liking him better. So that's why I only had like a couple of games played my freshman year. But going off of that, making it to junior and senior year, I eventually, earned that starter role, and played my senior year, the last playoff game, so it was an incredible time. And yeah.
And I think college is important for not just hockey players, but just people in general. They go there, they can find out what they want to do, they can get an education. What did you study while you were at Worcester State?
I studied business administration, pretty basic, and then I have a minor in economics and communications.
So you're a lot smarter than most of us, which is okay. What's for you when hockey is over? Is there a mindset of what you want to do? Will you coach? Will you have something to do with hockey, or will you go into more of the business side of things?
Yeah, that's a great question. Something I don't even really know. I wish I had a clear answer for you, but right now I think it would be my dream to, make my own goaltending camp or just hockey camp, if you would. And I love working with kids. I do the kids clinics when I work golf, and I've done Can-Am hockey for the last, I want to say like 7 years. And that's where I met Steve and a ton of amazing people through that. I even got this Binghamton gig through Steve almost. And I worked with Nick Vitucci. He's an NHL scout this past summer. I, ran the camp with him. And he actually got me that Adirondack tryout. But Can-Am definitely has paved the way for me. But good question for sure. Cause I truly don't know what life has in store for me yet, but all I know is that we're going to make the best of it.
Well, you just started your professional career. So let's get you into this first and let you play some games, before we do that. Obviously, I know the relationship between you and Steve, and Steve reached out to Brant Sherwood. Talk a little bit about that first. I know you talked about the conversation a little bit. You were on a golf course. What other conversations did you have with Brant about being able to come in and kind of start playing for a spot?
Yeah, he kind of cut it to me straight, and he was like, we have our starter. He's an MVP goalie. Like, he's going to be really hard to beat out. And my mindset was really just to come in here and learn from CMAC, and so far he's been nothing but nice. And same with Eggie. Like,
Yeah,
they both have so much knowledge and so much information that I've been, asking them a ton of questions. And honestly, it's made me a better goalie already. Like, even in college, we didn't really have a goalie coach. Like, nobody was really looking at the goalies. So it's nice to have, a goalie partner who understands the game and can see it from another perspective. CMAC even told me one of the best pieces of advice I've ever received as a goalie, and that was only like my second day into training camp or something. He was like, yeah, just keep your chest up. Like, you're so far, like, bent over. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, I do have to keep my chest up. And, I know I have that agility to, push without, moving my chest all the way down. I just get super, focused and, in the net, like, hey, I want to stop this puck. I bend forward a little bit, but if I stand up, puck has a greater chance of hitting me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like tunnel vision, right? Your eyes are concentrating on that puck, but your body also needs to be, because the biggest part about you is your body, right? And, getting that thing straight up is obviously very important. And CMAC actually has run some camps as well and has worked in camps as well. So he's a great guy to partner up with in that sense, because he's already been teaching people for a while. And before he even came back to hockey, he had a year off, and that's what he did. He taught hockey. He taught, goalie. So which is pretty good. Obviously the decision recently, to release Eggie, who had been here for 2 years along with CMAC, was tough. You already touched upon it a little bit, but what did you get from conversations with Eggie? He's one of the nicest guys in the locker room, easily. Yeah. Everybody knows that. And a very hard worker as well. So talk a little bit about the relationship that you've had so far with CMAC and Eggie.
Yeah, it's been nothing but good. With CMAC, it's like he could give it to me straight. Oh yeah. And I haven't talked to him as much as I would like to. Obviously I've talked to him a bunch, but I feel like I've talked with Eggie the most, just because we were living together at Whitney, and he definitely has a ton of information, but all in all, he was kind of the guy that was like, hey man, like, just relax, just know, like, you're in a good spot. Like, I'm sure the coach will like you, and guys will like you on the team. Cause first year in any place is different, and you're a little nervous or whatnot about it. But, Aggie's such a nice guy, and he was like, yeah, like, whatever happens, just do your best, and out there, all you're trying to do is really impress yourself. And little pieces of advice like that, but just going over to him and, tapping gloves and seeing his smile, it always cheers you up. And, I'm blessed to be able to have met them.
Okay, so you get your first game with Binghamton. It's up in Watertown, so it's up in the North Country. You're already used to playing up in the North Country anyways. But what was it like? How did Brant drop the news that you were going to get that first start?
Yeah, he texted me the same morning, which was awesome. He was like, yeah, you're starting today. And I was very excited. I didn't want to get too ahead of myself, but, played it cool. We kind of leaned on my preparation and all the work I've been doing this past summer, and just reminded myself that, hey, I'm in this spot because I worked for it. And during that game, that first period, looking back on it was kind of tough. But that's a classic first period game in any league. You get a bad goal here and there, just kind of settling in, but it definitely was an honor to be able to play in that already.
Yeah, well, you got the first win, all right. But let's talk about that first goal. Stephen Klink, it was on the power play. What did you see? What do you wish you would have done better in that first goal?
Yeah, I wish I would have pushed harder and got to the puck square. faster in order to make that read. It was kind of a slap shot, kind of in between a leg, or I didn't see the full thing. So it was coming towards my glove and I dropped down, and I think I was a little bit off angle maybe. And, the puck just didn't hit me in the right spot, and went right in. But it was definitely a good shot by them. I tipped my hat there. But one that if you look back on, you're like, wow, I really wish I had. But then, going into the next game I play, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm stopping that next time.
Yeah,
so
no,
it's all good when a goal gets scored on you like that, because you're able to look back and say, hey, this is what I did wrong.
And I think one of the biggest things in hockey is watching video and learning from not mistakes. I don't want to call it mistakes, but how you did something one way, you might be able to change and do a different way. And video helps with that a lot. But I got to imagine you give up the first goal, it's still 2-1, right? The Black Bears had already gotten a 2-0 lead before the power play goal. You probably could sit there and say to yourself, hey, listen, we still got the lead, and you don't get too tensed up about it. You just kind of move on, right?
Right. Yeah, it's definitely, I've never been on a team like this. Even in college, like I was that Watertown goalie. Like I was getting 50, 60 shots a game, and I was constantly in the action. And I've been working a lot with CMAC on, how to play these games, because whenever the opponent has the opportunity to shoot the puck, it's normally a grade A, because we're very good at defense and we don't let guys shoot, from out of the circle. And, whenever they have a chance, normally it's a good one. So I'm just sitting there in the back and in my crease and saying, hey, I'm stopping that next shot. And, wherever it is, then I'll be able to stop it. So it definitely is a change of pace. With seeing maybe 16 shots a game when normally I would see 50. Yeah. But, got to adjust the gameplay. And I'm honored to be on a team like this that, even if I can contribute, then I feel okay with how the team is going to be.
Well, the third period, you only saw 5 shots on goal come at you from the Wolves, and you stopped all 5 of them. But the Black Bears scored 4 goals. Give me a scouting report. What did you see in that third period from the Black Bears that allowed them to score those 4 goals, and you kind of got to sat back and kind of watch that?
It's incredible. Like I said, I've never been on a team like this. Like I'm expecting a bunch of shots to come my way, and when we have the puck, it's amazing. It's like we're so focused and we have complete control of the game. Like when it was probably 18 minutes left in the third period, I think we scored 1 already, and we're like, okay, we're obviously outplaying these guys, and we know that they don't even want to be here anymore. Like it was like the vibe changed, the atmosphere changed in that rink, and by the last 5 minutes of that third period, you could tell that they didn't want to be there at all in their home rink, and we were just outplaying them. We were just toying with them when the puck was on our stick, and it really was incredible to watch.
Last thing I'll ask you before I let you go, let's talk a little bit about the kind of the locker room feel. What is the energy like in that locker room? Last year, there was a lot of love amongst all the players. The year before that was pretty good, but they said it even got better last year. What's the love like? What's the relationships like so far? I know it's only 4 games in, but what's the locker room like for this team?
It's incredible. Like I said, I'd never been on a team like this before. On our first, our team lines, we said, our guidelines, that was the first one, because I sit in that corner stall and I read it, and it was good guys only. It was number 1, our number 1 rule. And I think Shearsy put that on there for a reason. Yeah. Nobody wants to be a dick, and nobody, wants to be a dick to somebody else. And I shouldn't say that.
No, one. That's okay. That's okay. We're on the internet. It's okay.
But yeah, everybody's been so welcoming and so nice so far. I haven't met a mean person here. And I think the captains kind of paved the way, and the older guys, And, they really do lead by example. Whether it's picking up the pucks at the end of practice or honestly, I've been going a lot to Cam Clark and asking him a bunch of questions, say like, hey, what do I do here? Or like, how should I do this better? Or even Janny or Bondo or Tyson, I feel comfortable going up to them and saying, hey, whatever it is, how can I be better? And, what do I need to work on type of thing. But yeah, everybody's been super welcoming and truly honored to be here.
I just thought of something. Obviously you played the last 4 years at D3 hockey. Any of the guys on this team now that used to play against you in D3?
Yeah, good question.
And did any of them score on you in college?
No, I would know. Then they would let me know too. But no, I don't think. I think the Franklin Pierce. I don't know if we played each other.
Okay.
But I've definitely played against Franklin Pierce a couple of times in my career at Worcester State.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think anybody scored on me.
From the Black Bears. Well, because I know the SUNYAC teams you guys didn't play, right?
No, we did not.
No, so a lot of the SUNYAC guys they wouldn't have scored against you. So that kind of limits it down just a little bit. Okay, well, hey, listen, Wyatt, thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Stephen was right. You were obviously great to talk to. I can't wait to meet you in person at the rink. And thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Bob. It's been a great year so far, and I appreciate the chance to talk about it.
All right, and we'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
If you're a Binghamton hockey fan, then you need to check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your news, stats, information, the Binghamton Hockey Hall of Fame, top 10 lists, profiles, and so much more. That's binghamtonhockey.net. You're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. Again, I do not have Taylor with me tonight. She is sick. So if you're listening, please send her a nice message on Facebook and let her know that you guys are thinking of her. I hope she gets better real soon. So let's move on. So this upcoming weekend, the Binghamton Black Bears will travel to Watertown on Friday night for their first road game of the season on a Friday. Then the Black Bears will host the Wolves on Saturday night for their first home game on a Saturday night, which will also feature wear your Halloween costume, and there is a post-game skate afterwards. So it's basically another home-and-home series against the Watertown Wolves. The Wolves on the season are 1-2-1 with 4 points. They have scored 14 goals and have allowed 16 goals so far this season and are in fifth place in the East, are in the Empire Division. The Black Bears are 4-0-0 with 11 points. They have scored 21 goals and allowed 10 goals and are first in the Empire Division. So they're plus their goal differential is already plus 11, which is obviously pretty awesome. The two teams faced off in the opening weekend of the season with the Black Bears winning both games. As most people are going to remember, Friday, October 10th, a 5-4 shootout win by Binghamton at the home opener. And then Saturday up in Watertown, October 11th, a 7-3 win for Binghamton. Since their first meeting, Binghamton beat Danbury last weekend in both games. Binghamton beat Danbury at home 6-3 on last Friday, and then shut them out in Danbury on Saturday 3-0. Now, Watertown did something I don't think a lot of people thought was going to happen. They split their two games last weekend with the Port Huron Prowlers out in Michigan. Last Friday, the Wolves beat the Prowlers 6-2. Pretty dominantly, I might add. So pretty good game for the Watertown Wolves. And then they only lost on Saturday night in a close game 2-1. And I think just from my observations of the first 4 games, I did not give Justin Coachman, the head coach of the Syracuse Crunch, enough credit. He obviously knew how to take the players that he got, and he's getting the very much best he can out of them. I know Darian Benchik scored a goal against the Black Bears in the opening weekend. So he is finding a way to get the very best that he can out of the players that he has. And I underestimated what they were going to be able to do. So I think coming into this upcoming weekend, this is not a cakewalk in any regards for the Binghamton Black Bears. The Wolves are led by Brad Reeder, who has in 4 games played, has 3 goals, 2 assists for 5 points. He does have 2 power play goals. So obviously he's probably on their first unit, and he's probably firing off a lot of shots. Stephen Klink, 4 games played. He's got 3 goals and 1 assist for 4 points, and he has 1 power play goal as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's also on the first power play unit. Wouldn't surprise me. Obviously, their goaltender that they're going to probably use most of the season while they can, Brendan Colgan, 3 games played. He is 1-1-1 with a 2.1 goals against average and a .937 save percentage. Now, the Wolves do give up a lot of shots, so they allow a lot of shots on their netminder. It's probably the one downfall or the one weak spot I can point out is that defensively they don't stop a lot of shots. So Brendan Colgan has seen a lot of shots. So when you see 50 shots a game, 4 games in a row, or at least 3 of the games that he's been in, your save percentage is going to be pretty high because he doesn't give up a lot either. So that's just the way it is with him. Now, the Black Bears are led by CJ Stubbs in 4 games played. He's got 1 goal, 8 assists for 9 points, 1 power play goal, and 1 game-winning goal. And Mac Jansen, 4 games played, 4 goals, 3 assists for 7 points. He's got 1 power play goal and a game-winning goal as well. And, of course, we all know here in Binghamton, Connor McAnanama, 3 games played. He's 3-0-0 on the season, or 3-0 on the season. He hasn't lost a game yet. He's got a 2.28 goals against average and an .870 save percentage. I expect as he sees more shots, that save percentage is going to definitely come up. That is low for him right now, and that's partially because in the first 3 games, he didn't see a lot of shots and he gave up a few goals, right? So we have to look at it that way. So that's pretty much it for us today on the Power Play Post Show. We got Watertown this upcoming weekend. Friday is an away game. And then, of course, Saturday is wear your Halloween costume to the game and then a post-game skate afterwards. Which is pretty cool. I know a lot of the fans last year, one of the best parts of going to the games and maybe finishing up some of the media work I'm doing upstairs in the press box is looking down and watching all the people start to file on to the ice. And I said this last year, I'm going to say it again. Last year, I saw more people skating after games than I did in any one of the post-game skates with the Senators, or even the Devils. It's just amazing how many people are coming out and skating afterwards. And I don't know if the players are skating, after the game as well. I just know that in this particular case, it is a post-game skate. I don't know the rest, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, so the Power Play Post is available on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on your favorite app, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, hit the notification bell, because as soon as the Power Play Post Show comes up, you'll be notified of the new episode. Join the conversation on Facebook. We're only a few members away to get to 1,000. Search Power Play Post Show and become part of our community. Looking for anything Binghamton Hockey, visit binghamtonhockey.net. Thank you to Rob Lapoulos, our MC, John Petitucci, our music director, and from the Binghamton Black Bears, netminder Wyatt Friedlander. I am Bob Howard. Thank you very much for listening. Taylor and I will be back on Sunday to go over the games against the Watertown Wolves. We'll talk to you next time, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Power Play Post Show. Be sure to tune in next week to the Box Studios Radio Network for all the latest Black Bears news and interviews from around minor league hockey. The Power Play Post Show would like to thank John Patitucci for all the music you hear on the show. You've been listening to the Power Play Post Show.